What are we talking about?
Talking about oils is oils is oils is oils.
Those darn oils. You know, it's interesting you bring that up. Levi and I, try saying that 10 times, were just down in the kitchen and we ran across an old cookbook from the American Medical Association. I don't know if you've seen it laying around down there. It's this old red thing.
Yellow?
It's falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
Levi opens it and he goes, "Oh, look, margarine. How to make margarine." And we're like, wow. The American Medical Association has a recipe. Back then, I don't know how old the book is. I would imagine it's at least 30 years old. It gives a recipe for margarine, which is one of the main culprits for heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
And we found that out as a people the hard way. Because in the 1980s and the 1990s and the early 2000s, they were pushing a narrative that animal fats are the cause of heart attacks.
Yeah.
So they pitched margarine, and I can't believe it's not butter, and oils. And heart disease went up, okay? It has not gone down. Just a news flash. Heart disease is the number one killer in the world. Not even America, in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And people are taking their olive oil, they're putting it on their salad, and they're, these chips are made with avocado oil, so, hey. And it's the wrong path.
Yeah.
And margarine is a bad idea. And all this stuff is a bad idea. You want animal fats.
It's all greenwash.
If animal fats were a real problem, then you would go outside and there would be mountain lions and there would be coyotes.
Yeah.
And there would be all sorts of carnivore animals laying in the road dead from a heart attack. Because all they eat is animal fat.
It's a real stat. You can go look it up too.
So oils are no bueno, but go ahead. You can tell them why. I've been telling them why for years.
I mean, I've been trying.
You do it. I'm drinking my 90 essential nutrients here. I
what
got my
spiel
new.
haven't they heard? It's like
There's someone out there that I haven't heard. It is the most divisive topic in the history of the world.
yeah.
Every time we tell people to not consume oils, it's always met with, but what about olive oil?
Yeah.
But what about avocado oil? And it's always met with curious doubt.
I mean, if you even like start off with olive oil and you look at what olive oil looks like when it's first made, it looks like golden milk. And then by the time it gets to you, it's this dark substance.
It's not wine. It doesn't age.
No, it's not.
Okay?
Like, that's just showing you.
Not wine
not
from the
same.
1700s here.
It tastes completely different.
Yeah.
And those of us that are like connoisseurs would know, like they get their olives fresh off the whatever, and get it made. Then there's a big difference in taste, and it's not a natural product. Like, think about the whole process of making olive oil, and it's always made in a tropical environment, and then so heat. There's your heat. Exposed to oxygen. There's your oxygen. Sitting in the bottle. Oxygen. Those trucks, those planes, those trains or whatever, do you think they have ventilation going on in those units? So it's the heat and oxygen working on it still. It gets to the store shelves where it sits there in the, not even the store shelves, it sits in the warehouse. Then it's moved to the inventory, the warehouse at the store. Then it's put on the shelves. And then you take it off the shelf and put it in your kitchen pantry. And then it sits there for another month or so. So it's like almost 6 months to a year old oils just sitting there. If you take an olive, take yourself an olive, take an avocado, what other oils? I don't know.
Canola,
Put it in your whatever. Put it in a bottle and just sit it there.
sapphire,
Sit it there for a
safflower.
month.
Yep.
You'll see. You'll see it turn oxidized.
Yep. Not to mention, there's at least a half inch at the top of the bottle.
That's what I'm saying.
It's an air pocket, and it's just bathing in the air the whole time.
It's not healthy for you.
There's a reason why cars get oil changes.
Yeah, even
Right?
cars
You know,
gonna get oil changes.
Your car needs an oil change.
Yeah.
Why? Someone Google that.
It's just not the route to go.
Oils are for machines. They're not for humans. Now, this is where things get complicated. You ready?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean you can't use oil for your skin.
Mm-hmm.
With the big one being the castor oil. Right? So this is where people get confused, you know.
I thought you said no oils.
I thought you said no oils. And then sometimes they'll find oils in the supplements, in the ingredients, be like, but you said no oil. But that oil was freeze-dried and devoured into a powder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about the length of time the oils were exposed to the air and heat.
Yeah.
This is why they get confused, Sean, because there's so much context involved. It's not black and white.
Not at all.
Mm-mm. But we try to make it black and white to help people. The poor four foods. Don't eat them. Gluten, oil, fried, fake. You don't have to believe. You don't have to believe us. Just try it for a month.
Exactly.
Just try it for a month. Get back to us. Report back. You know?
It's the best test I've seen people do because they always say, I've never gotten a person that says, yeah, I didn't feel anything. They feel different from the oils. And I'm like, for the people that have, like, they're like, I got a little bit of change. I'm like, okay, add it back in. And immediately they know. They taste it. You taste the taste of the oxidized oils.
Yeah.
Or you taste even, the other poor fours. Immediately get stomach aches, immediately feel sick. That's what you were doing to your body all that time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like to use it just for like cooking, so they don't really know what it tastes like.
Yeah.
But if you just drink it right out of the bottle, you'll taste the rancid taste that it has.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a habit, though. It's a habit to cook with oils because that's all we know. That's all we see on television. That's all, our parents did.
Not what people did 50 years ago.
We got someone in the chat asking on FB, can you explain why butter is better?
It's a saturated fat. It's thicker. It's saturated. It's not, the smoke point is way higher than oil. And I'm just talking about cooking.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just talking about just the straight health, it's a saturated fat. It's going to nourish your soft tissue, nourish your brain. Yeah. People have been eating butter for centuries. Centuries.
You put oil beside any butter or any other animal fat, high amounts of fat soluble nutrients compared to the oil. It's essentially devoid.
Vitamin A,
E,
yep, D,
K,
yep,
cholesterol, all of
They're
that.
also asking cold pressed is a no and coconut oil is a no.
yeah.
Do you cook with those?
No.
It's like
Oil is oil is oil.
it's all.
My favorite analogy is just like, all right, if I hit you with a baseball bat, and then I hit you with a baton, and then I hit you with a wooden stick, are they going to hurt? Yes. Okay. It doesn't matter what weapon I'm using; it's gonna hurt. So the stick is a stick is a stick, just like oil is oil is oil. So, this is a problem, and it is arguably the number one cause of heart disease in the world, is people consuming oils at high levels. It's just bad news because that free radical damage is so high, you can't consume enough antioxidants to put out the fire.
I was,
Think of free radical is fire.
mhm.
And then think of antioxidants. Antioxidant. We're talking about oxidation. Okay? The oil is being oxidated by the air. So now you need antioxidants to neutralize the oxidation. It's right there in the vocabulary. It's right there in the grammar.
It's right there. Proof is in the pudding. I would also add that like the difference between the animal fats, you know, the butter and the ghee and all that stuff is when it is bad, you know it's bad. You can smell it. When oil goes bad, unless it's like super bad, super contaminated, it goes scentless.
Yeah, soundless.
You don't really smell it at all. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to gauge exactly when that point of, you know, rancid is, but it's easier to tell that with the saturated fats.
Did someone look up the oil change? Is that something you could share, Levi, on the screen or something?
What are you talking about? I was on my phone
If-
helping someone.
If why we get oil changes in our car?
Oh, you get oil changes because the oil gets.
I was asking Google.
It gets dirty. You know, the engine parts grind. Well, that's just common sense.
Yeah, there's more to it.
Well, the engine parts grind up and like little fragments start building up in the oil, and the oil also goes old, so it gets dark and darker and darker.
So you're saying it oxidizes?
I don't know if it's oxidation that.
Well, if you look it up, we can find out.
I have it here.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, the last time I looked up something, this whole live stream just shut down.
What do you got, Christine? Tell me.
Engine performance. Oil helps your car run smoothly and efficiency, improve gas mileage. Fresh oil reduces dirt and sludge buildup in the engine, which helps it run more efficiently. Oil helps keep your engine cool. Low oil levels can cause the engine to overheat. Overheating can lead to major mechanical issues. And routine use wears out your car's engine, which can start to heat up faster. If the oil isn't changed, the engine will stop working.
Oh yeah, it's directly. Your oil has been exposed to dirt or dust contaminants that lead to soot buildup. So it's called soot.
Soot?
SOOT.
If you look closer, you'll see that there's oxidation.
I'm looking up something right now. So I asked, does oxidized oil in a car harm the car? Yes, oxidized oils can harm a car's engine. Oxidation occurs when oil reacts with oxygen over time, leading to the breakdown of the oil's molecules. This process results in oil thickening, losing its lubricating properties, and forming sludge and varnish deposits inside the engine.
All right. Well, there you go. Finally.
Corrosion leads to corrosion as well.
I just wanted to add something with that too. One of my friends is allergic to dairy. They found out through a food sensitivity test that there were about 4 things that they were allergic to, and dairy was one of them. So they had the great idea to start incorporating vegan cheeses. And vegan cheeses happen to have a ton of seed oils.
Mm-hmm.
And what they experienced was rashes on their face, breakouts, eruptions. They have arthritis too, so more pain. And it took a little bit of time for them to connect the dots because they weren't quite ready to understand what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But once they eliminated those vegan cheeses, their skin cleared and they started feeling great. And then they realized what was going on.
Yeah, the vegans are screwed right now. They're screwed. And they don't even know it. because they are eating these ultra processed foods that has oils in them. Because you need fats.
Yeah.
So where else are you going to get fat? You're not going to get it from a pineapple. So they consume oils.
I guess they're just fats and avocado, but I mean, the amount of like availability is kind of, yeah.
One avocado a day ain't enough fat.
Well, I was doing the vegan lifestyle before I found you, not just, it was more whole food, plant-based. So I was thinking that's the way to go and I'm going to be really healthy. But of course, there were a few foods that I just couldn't give up and they had oils in them until I found you. My eyes really didn't get the reason for that and the reason why oils could be so destructive. The irony, though, is that individual I was telling you about that had the issues with the rashes because of oils, they now have told me if you set out, the animals know basically, if you set out a cube of butter and a cube of margarine outside, the animals will gravitate to the butter and they'll eat the butter, but the margarine will stay there.
Right.
So they don't have to have all the advertisements that we do, the social media to tell us what's right or wrong. They intuitively know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
I've heard the exact same type of thing with corn and GMO corn. Like squirrels all eat the, organic corn over the GMO.
It's crazy. It's like, how do they know?
Well, stay away from those oils. It's bad business. And no matter how many times we tell people to get off oil and the other 3 bad foods, the more people go up in arms,
Yeah.
It's really that serious to a lot of people. It's,
You're messing with the Italians now.
and the Greek.
Well, that's also what the culinary schools teach, especially with French style cooking, is you make your sauces with oils, you saute your vegetables in oils. It's everything that they do in the restaurants. Makes it really hard to go out.
Yeah. Yeah, when I go to a restaurant, I always tell them, please, cook my steak in butter, please.
Yeah. Isn't that what the whole French paradox is based off of? Like, everybody's always wondering how French people were so, thin and fit and stuff like that. And then they looked into their diet and it was high in saturated fats. They would use like oils and such like that. Well, for the most part, oils and dairy and wine, especially, and stuff like that, as opposed to other, as opposed to the alternatives, and they always like came back a lot better. Supposedly that was the French paradox.
Okay.
Somebody could clarify that. Are there any comments in the members room, Karen?
Yeah, just a couple. Ken's making a comment. He says the biggest challenge in going out to dinner and traveling is oils. Beyond a doubt, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's shipping an Instapot ahead of time, so that way traveling will be easier, and it's the best solution for him.
Yeah, we're big advocates of the electrical pressure cookers, and they make great food, and
Perfect.
there's really no reason to go to restaurants unless you have a date that is, insistent on it, which is something I deal with quite a lot. But the pressure cooker's better.
Yeah, it's seriously better.
But there's something in people's heads where they have to go out. It's an atmosphere thing. You go out. You don't go out for the food. You go out for the atmosphere.
Yeah, experience.
You need the little drink with the umbrella to feel fancy.
True.
Well, I think Americans too, and probably other cultures around the world, are so used to having food as an activity. And there's potato chips, and there's so many different products out there that are snack foods, processed foods. And then if you get together, whether it be for football or a party or a potluck, there's all these foods that our body should not consume.
Yeah. Absolutely. I see Elise in the corner says it's the experience.
Yeah.
Hi, Elise.
Yeah.
Mike has a question in the Zoom room. He says, what about cheeses made from unpasteurized raw milk?
Cheese is made from what?
Unpasteurized raw milk.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as you're not sensitive to it.
Yeah, I would say that's like the biggest thing, because a lot of people have sensitivities to it. You know, most people with gut issues are not going to be able to tolerate things like that at first. But, you know, that's where you're listening to your body. And that's where, you know, joining a program like this, or just, you know, being involved with us and doing the omission of the poor for foods, that's when things like that come in that help you understand what's going on in your body. Even we talk about this every show, even the analysis that Dr. Reese does, that's something that you can use basically for life if you needed to. It's like that ticket that you can always go back to. You know, you can check your photos, check the mirror, see if you're actually changing.
Mm-hmm.
See if your symptoms are disappearing in the symptom part of the analysis, and just see how you're improving over time as you implement all of these different things, whether it's the 90, whether it's the different protocols in the rescue series or the postural alignment classes. All of those can be tested and gauged from the analysis itself. And so that's always something that you should go back to, you know, have. And I always love when people talk about, like, they get their ticket, they're like, do I get the analysis, do I get to keep it? And I'm like, yeah, of course, we're gonna send it to you in the email. And like they just go show it to their family members and such like that. But
yeah, as long as they're comfortable with showing their body.
yeah,
Some people are very timid with that, which is understandable, but
but
yeah.
nobody likes it at first. Nobody,
No,
not
of
a
course.
single person in this room, or who in this room, this members room, has ever liked their analysis, because they see things that oftentimes they subconsciously hid from themselves. Like when you go in the mirror, you see what you want to see, and you'll know that as soon as you take those analysis photos and Dr. Reese points out some things to you. Ooh. Nobody likes that. But it's needed, you know, because you see where you can improve on. There's always something you can improve upon, and you would be surprised the connection of posture to nutrition, or nutrition to posture.
Some people miss their symptoms too. Like just the other day, I was doing an analysis on this person who, you know, I saw age spots. So I zoomed in and I could see the age spots on the skin. And then, you know, I go to the symptom form after.
Yeah.
Right? I always look at the body before I go to the symptoms, because I like to connect the dots like that. I go to the symptom form and he does not have age spots checked off. And I'm like, oh, you got age spots. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he didn't see him yet.
They do. They're like, when I'm on the calls with them, somebody, well, you'll be like, you're so twisted, I don't see how you have no pain. And they're like, well, you know, I got a little pain every now and then in my shoulder or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah, no, I remember that one this week too.
Yeah.
Like there was this person with their musculoskeletal system was so twisted. And the pain category was zeros. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. The photos don't lie. So, are you saying that I was right?
I think for one, yeah, but the others, I feel like some people are just like super
I think
resilient, you know, like their body is not. It's not at that. It's one of those things
Or they
where
get
it's
used
like,
to the pain.
yeah,
It's like dull. It's like a dull.
or it's just like one more thing is needed to set everything off. You know, the straw that broke the camel's back type of thing. Which I was like, you might want to do something about it in that case, because it's like it's clear.
The photos don't lie.
Yeah, they don't. And so I would not wait until, like, imagine waiting until the time when you could have prevented that. Because usually it's worse and it's harder to reverse once it's fully manifested than when you catch it.
There was one person this is all coming to me now, but on the wall test, they're like, their head touches the wall. I'm like, wait a second here, because I'm looking at the neck. The neck is falling out on the chest. Like, your head doesn't touch the wall. I put my line, right? I put the imaginary wall up, and I'm like, okay, how does your head touch the wall here? Because here's my imaginary line if it's a wall, and your head's out here, right? So if you move your head back and actually touch the wall, what's going to happen? Your eyes are going to be looking at the ceiling.
Yeah.
So if you're touching the wall with your head and your eyes are at the ceiling, your neck has fallen out onto your chest. Wouldn't you say so?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the analysis is so revealing. It just blows people's minds, and everyone really should have one to have that aha moment.
So you can start doing something about it.
Call drreese.com.
Call drreese.com.
Call drreese. www.
This is www.
From my era, we say www, okay?
Call drreese.com.
I came up in the 90s. We go www.
Jumpstart your head-to-toe healing journey with the Dr. Reese book trilogy. Peace Over Pain is the cult classic that explains how head-to-toe healing works and how the medical monopoly doesn't. Reverse the Cause lays out the root causes to over 60 chronic conditions. And Dinner with Dr. Reese is a unique cookbook that contains 100 recipes without the destructive poor four foods. Together, all 3 books set you on a path to head-to-toe healing. Get yours today on Amazon, Audible, or peaceoverpain.com. Also, if you'd like to ask a question, tune in every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for Dr. Reese Live.